We often look for guidance, navigating the messy bits of love and life. And sometimes the sharpest insights, well, they come from unexpected places.
That's so true.
So today we're going to unpack some really powerful truths found within just one story.
Yeah, think of it like a concentrated exploration. We're taking 10 key life lessons, basically distilled from Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us.
Right.
It's a book that it resonates so deeply because, yeah, it touches on romance, but its real heart, I think, is in the complexities of survival, those really difficult choices.
Exactly. And this isn't just, a love story with a few bumps. It gets into some genuinely tough situations.
Definitely.
So our aim in this deep dive is to take these 10 lessons and really explore their weight, their relevance, maybe in our own lives too, even if you have read the book.
Ready to get started.
Absolutely. Let's dive right in. The first lesson, love isn't always enough.
It's almost like a jarring statement, isn't it?
We're so often told that love is the ultimate answer, the great healer. But what the book, through Lily's experiences, really highlights is how profound love can coexist with real pain. You can love someone deeply, passionately even, and will still find yourself in a situation that just isn't sustainable.
And what makes this lesson so potent, I think, is that it forces us to look beyond just the feeling of love. You have to consider the dynamics, right?
Well, the actual relationship.
Are the people involved actually able to foster each other's well-being? Or are there patterns of behavior that, despite the love, are just fundamentally damaging?
And that leads to a really tough but crucial realization. Sometimes choosing to step away is actually the most profound act of love.
Love for yourself.
Love for yourself, exactly. The book has this powerful line, just because someone hurts you doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you love yourself more. It sort of reframes the whole decision, centering it on self-preservation.
Precisely. It really challenges that idea that just enduring hardship is always the most loving choice. Sometimes, recognizing your own limits, prioritizing your safety, your well-being, that becomes paramount, even if it means heartbreak.
Okay, so our second lesson tackles the power of history. Cycles can be broken.
A big one.
Lily really grapples with the shadows of her past, the patterns she saw, and there's this very real fear of repeating those patterns in her own life.
Yeah.
It's kind of a universal fear, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That we're somehow destined to relive the difficulties we've witnessed or experienced ourselves.
It speaks to the weight of intergenerational patterns, personal histories. You can feel trapped by what's come before.
Which is why this lesson, just stated so directly, is so vital.
It's such a simple yet powerful message. Breaking a cycle isn't easy, but it's possible.
Yeah.
That little emphasis on possible, it's like a spark of hope, right?
Yeah.
It acknowledges the difficulty, the uphill battle it can be, but it formally states that change is within our grasp.
And the key here really is conscious awareness.
Right.
Recognizing those ingrained patterns, maybe understanding where they came from, and then actively making different choices, even when those choices feel, unfamiliar or uncomfortable. It's about agency.
Right. Which brings us to the third lesson, shifting focus inward. Your story is yours alone.
So important today.
In our hyper-connected world where we're constantly seeing these curated versions of other people's lives, this feels incredibly important to remember. It's so easy to fall into that comparison trap.
It really is. And what might look a certain way from the outside, a decision someone makes, a path they choose, it has a deeply personal context that we, as outsiders, can never fully grasp.
Yeah.
What looks like weakness to one person might actually be an act of immense strength for the person living it, navigating their unique circumstances.
The source puts it perfectly, I think. Lily's choices are hers and hers alone. And that's powerful.
It's about reclaiming ownership of your own narrative, right? Understanding that the validity of your decisions isn't determined by someone else's judgment or their expectations.
Exactly. It's about trusting your own internal compass, your own needs, your own journey. Your story is defined by your experiences and your personal truth. End of story.
Okay, lesson number 4. This shines a light on a complex, often misunderstood aspect of relationships. Abuse isn't always black and white.
Yeah, this is crucial.
I think when we hear abuse, we often picture, overt physical violence. But this book and this lesson, they really unpack the more subtle, insidious forms it can take.
And what's so important to understand is how abuse can be veiled. It can hide behind charm, right? Behind those seemingly heartfelt apologies or grand gestures of love.
Those inconsistencies.
Exactly. Those inconsistencies can create a very confusing, very manipulative environment for the person experiencing it. It's in those gray areas, as the source calls them, where abuse can really get a foothold.
Mm.
It's not always a clear-cut case of victim and perpetrator. It can be emotionally tangled, incredibly difficult to recognize, even from the inside.
Which forces us to confront some really uncomfortable truths about human behavior.
Definitely.
And just recognizing that is the first step, you know? Understanding the full spectrum of abusive dynamics and validating the experiences of people whose stories might not fit that stereotypical mold.
Okay, our fifth lesson gets into the complicated emotions that can linger. It's okay to miss the person who hurt you.
Oh, this one resonates.
Yeah, this is something that can feel incredibly isolating, right? If someone
Mhm.
caused you pain, shouldn't you just want them gone, cut off completely?
But this lesson really speaks to the messy reality of human connection
Yeah,
and grief. Even in relationships where there's been significant harm, there were likely also moments of, genuine connection, shared joy, maybe even love.
right.
Missing those positive aspects doesn't negate the pain that was inflicted. It doesn't excuse the hurtful behavior at all.
It's about acknowledging that complexity. You can genuinely miss the good parts of a person, maybe the person they were sometimes, without condoning the hurt they caused you. Like the source says, that's part of healing. It's a natural, albeit confusing, part of the process.
Exactly. It's about allowing yourself to feel that full range of emotions without judging yourself for it. Trying to just suppress the good memories that can actually hinder your ability to move forward in a healthy way.
All right, lesson number 6. This offers a more inclusive understanding of inner strength. Strength looks different on everyone.
I love this one.
Yeah. We often have these very traditional ideas of what strength looks like, being outwardly resilient, never showing vulnerability. But this lesson really challenges that limited view.
It's such an important perspective because strength isn't just about those big, visible acts of defiance, you know? It manifests in countless smaller, often internal ways.
The examples the source gives are so powerful because they're just so relatable. Crying in the shower, smiling at your child when your heart is breaking, and that incredibly difficult act of saying no more, even when you're scared.
Mhm.
These are all acts of immense courage, and they often go completely unrecognized.
Absolutely. It's about acknowledging the quiet battles, the inner fortitude it takes just to navigate incredibly difficult circumstances. It's
Yeah.
about redefining strength on your own terms, recognizing the validity of your own personal forms of resilience, whatever that looks like for you.
Okay, moving on to lesson number 7. People can be both good and bad.
Human complexity.
Right, this really gets to the heart of it. We rarely encounter people who are purely one thing or the other. Life's not like that.
And the character of Ryle in the book is such a compelling example of this duality. He's not portrayed as, like, a simple villain. Not at all.
No.
He exhibits positive traits, moments of real kindness and connection, yet he also inflicts significant pain. And that complexity is what makes the story feel so authentic, I think.
And it's a crucial reminder that, love doesn't have some magical power to just erase past hurts or fundamental flaws in someone's character.
Right.
You can love someone deeply and still have to acknowledge and deal with the damage they cause. The two realities can coexist, however uncomfortable that might feel.
It challenges this idealized notion of love as this purely transformative, redemptive force. While love can certainly be a catalyst for positive change sometimes, it doesn't automatically absolve people of their actions or the consequences of those actions.
So true. Okay, our 8th lesson highlights the vital importance of connection. You are not alone.
Oh, crucial.
When you're facing difficult circumstances, especially things that carry a sense of maybe shame or isolation, that feeling that you're the only one going through it, it can be incredibly damaging.
This lesson really underscores the unfortunate truth that Lily's experiences, while specific to her story, they resonate with, well, too many women, as the source puts it.
Yeah.
Recognizing that shared reality can be incredibly powerful. It helps break down those feelings of isolation and shame.
And the message is just so direct, so validating. You're not weak. You're not dramatic. You're not alone. These are often the very thoughts that can keep people trapped in harmful situations. So to hear that directly countered, it can be incredibly empowering. The source calls books like this lifelines, which really captures that sense of support and understanding they can offer.
Exactly. Stories have this incredible ability to foster empathy, to remind us of our shared humanity. Just knowing that others have navigated similar challenges can provide immense comfort and a crucial sense of solidarity.
Which leads us to lesson number 9, delving into the often elusive idea of closure. Closure isn't always pretty.
Yeah. Life rarely wraps things up neatly.
Right. We often yearn for these neat, tidy endings where everything is resolved, everything's explained, but life just jessered. It rarely provides such clear resolutions.
This lesson really encourages us to let go of that expectation of a perfect resolution. Sometimes there are no easy answers, no heartfelt apologies, no complete understanding on all sides.
And holding on to that ideal of pretty closure
Yeah.
can actually just prolong the pain, right? It can prevent us from actually moving forward.
Yeah. Instead, the source suggests that true closure might mean accepting the lack of definitive answers and focusing on something different, finding peace.
That shift in focus from seeking external resolution to cultivating an internal state, that feels really significant.
It really is. It's about finding a way to move forward and heal, even when things are unresolved, even without complete understanding or reconciliation. It's about creating your own sense of peace within the circumstances, whatever they may be.
And finally, we arrive at our 10th lesson, which feels like, I don't know, the culmination of everything we've discussed.
Yeah.
Choosing yourself is the most powerful thing you can do.
The ultimate act.
Lily's journey ultimately leads her to a decision rooted in self-preservation and the well-being of her daughter.
This lesson really emphasizes the profound importance of prioritizing your own needs, your own future. Lily's ultimate choice isn't solely based on romantic love anymore. It's about creating a safe, healthy environment for herself and her child.
It sends such a powerful message that choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's often a necessary act for healing, for building a sustainable future. As the source wisely says, this act of self-prioritization is where true healing begins.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the story, but really the start of a new self-directed chapter.
Exactly. It's about recognizing your own inherent worth and making choices that honor that worth, even when those choices are incredibly difficult or unconventional.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the 10 life lessons from It Ends With Us, it's really clear this book offers more than just a compelling story.
Much more.
As the source so aptly describes it, it's like a mirror, reflecting complex realities. It's a wake-up call, challenging our assumptions about love and relationships. And for many, it can truly mark a beginning. It really makes you think about which of these lessons resonates most deeply with you, personally, and how they might, inform your own path. It's certainly given me a lot to consider.
It has for me too, and I think that's the lasting power of stories like this. They provide a framework maybe for understanding the complexities of the human experience, and they invite us to reflect on our own lives with hopefully greater awareness and empathy, maybe sparking some new beginnings for all of us.